In this video, we want to take a look at U.S. measures of weight. The main units that we use are ounces, pounds, and tons for the really large things. So we really only have two conversion factors. The first is 1 pound is equivalent to 16 ounces. That usually takes care of the smaller stuff that we're accustomed to dealing with. And then we also know that 1 ton is equivalent to 2,000 pounds. That would be our larger items, our cars, pieces of equipment, and things like that. All right, so let's use those two pieces of information to answer the following two problems. First, a 12-pound bowling ball. How many ounces is that? Well, we have this one conversion factor that relates pounds to ounces, so that's what we're going to use. So I start with my 12 pounds over 1 ounce. 12 pound over 1. And then I multiply it by that conversion factor, and I decide what goes on top by looking at what label needs to cancel. In this case, we want to get rid of the pounds, so I have to put the pounds on bottom so that it cancels the original given pounds, and that what's left is ounces. All right, that unit I want should always end up being on the top. For this one, that means I just have to multiply across the top and I get my final answer of 192 ounces. All right, what about the next one here? This time I'm going from a 12-ounce steak and I want to know how many pounds is that steak. It's the same conversion factor, but there's a difference, right? So this time, when I have 12 ounces over 1, I change my conversion factor to the 1 pound over the 16 ounces because I want the ounces to cancel. So then I get 12/16 pound. Well, we know that's going to be 0.75, and you can't see that. Hang on one second. All right, there you go. It's 0.75 pounds, 3/4 of a pound. Let's take a look at another problem. A municipal trash facility allows a person to throw away a maximum of 30 pounds of trash each week. And last week, 140 people threw away this maximum trash. How many tons of trash did this equal? Okay, so there is a couple things. We're using our known conversion factors for U.S. measures of weight, but we're also given this other thing that says 30 pounds per week per person. So that's another ratio we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to start out with 140 people. That's what I was told. So 140 people over 1. What's something I know? I know that one thing is that 30 pounds are allowed per person. So I put the 30 pounds over the 1 person. Now, person cancels people. Okay, we're not going to get into the fact that they're not the same number. It's like 1 versus multitudes, but that doesn't matter, right? So it's persons, people, cancel. Then I'm saying, well, I don't want to know pounds. I want to know tons. So I use the conversion factor of tons to pounds, and I put the ton on top, 2,000 pounds on bottom, because my pounds then will cancel. Multiplying across the top and across the bottom, I get 4,200 over 2,000. Now I just put a simple label of tons here. That's because the people canceled, the pounds canceled, the only label remaining is tons. And when we simplify that, we get 2.1 tons. All right, let's take a look at another problem that's a little bit more complicated. This one is the cost to mail a letter. So a letter costs 44 cents for the first ounce, and then a reduced rate of 24 cents for every additional ounce or part of an ounce after that. We want to know how much does it cost if our letter weighs 2.3 pounds. So the first thing we have to do is convert those pounds into ounces. So 2.3 pounds over 1, and my conversion factor of 16 ounces to 1 pound, putting the pounds in the bottom so that it cancels the label, leaves me with 36.8 ounces. Now, the total cost is that first ounce plus the cost of additional ounces or fractions. So total ounces is 36.8. Let's subtract the first ounce. That leaves me with 35.8 additional ounces. But I get charged the same thing for that fraction of an ounce, that 0.8 ounce, as I do for a whole ounce. So I'm just going to say there's 36 extra that we're being charged for. So my final answer is going to be 44 cents. plus the extra 36 times just 24 cents, giving me a total of $9.08 to mail that letter. One more. Let's compare the weight of different fish. A bluefin tuna is about 1,800 pounds. That sounds huge. But the great white shark on average is 2.5 tons. Now it's a smaller number, but tons are bigger units. We want to know how much more does that great white shark weigh than the tuna. So we're going to go ahead and turn our 2.5 tons into pounds. So 2 1/2 is equivalent to 2.5. Where do I get the 0.5? 1 divided by 2. All right, so be able to turn it into a decimal. And then we just use our conversion factor here that there are 2,000 pounds in every 1 ton. So that 2.5 tons times the 2,000 tells me that the shark is a 5,000 pound thing. Wow, that's huge. All right, so how much more? I'm looking for a difference. I'm going to take that 5,000 minus the 1,800 for the tuna and realize that that shark weighs 3,200 pounds more. It's more than double. It's a huge creature. Let me know if you have any questions.